Me, we went live and you are facing the wrong direction. I think I screwed up my setup, but anyways, let me try to fix this because the orientation will kill me. I think we're good. All right, let's see how this looks. Woo! Happy post Super Bowl, right? So, let's see. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Apologies for last night. Typically, I would have published the video yesterday, but work obligations came in the way. A tenant had a frozen pipe, and my entire day was spent doing that. And wow, is it stressful? Is it stressful? I'm wondering. Orientation. I meant it in the literal sense, Sean. Yeah, you know, the when I was thinking about yesterday, when I was going through my whole day of, I guess, being a responsible landlord, I take everything so personally when it comes to whenever a tenant has an issue. And, you know, if there's just, you know, if it's 9 degrees outside and I can't do anything about it, I still take it to heart, you know? Yeah. So anyways, good morning, everybody. And I'm happy that we're all here. So let's get to it. A little bit about, of course, I have to mention something about the game. I didn't see any ICE messaging. I thought at least the administration, DHS, may take out a commercial. Turns out HHS did, eatrealfood.gov, okay? But I mean, I was surprisingly impressed with the lack of politics, really. I was enjoying it with my friends, all the commercials, but you know what, to be honest, none really stuck out to me. But I'm hoping that everybody here thinks that the Super Bowl is still a great American gathering and still a great function of our democracy, of our national culture. And a little sneak peek into what I was going to record a message on. I didn't like the idea that there were other halftime shows, and I see you're chatting about that in the chat. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I wrote it out. I put it in email format. You'll get it this afternoon. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, listen, Bad Bunny is just as American as we are, right? Here in the 50 states. So we respect it. He's part of the country. He began with God Bless America. I mean, I didn't enjoy it, just not my kind of music, but that was just my take. Back to the headlines, right? Let's go in with this. The Drew 3 case is still going. Honestly, I mean, listen, my heart goes out, you know, an elderly woman kidnapped. Again, like I said the other day, I mean, I'm not quite sure how big this case would be without the last name. My interpretation of it, I was sitting around with my family over the weekend, and we just said, I guess it's really that slow of a news cycle where this is dominating it. Would this dominate the news cycle if something went off with Russia, or I don't know. I don't think so. But that's just what's going on there. I'm not sure if I mentioned it here on the Friday stream, but I'm still grappling with the release of the Epstein files, which, it's interesting. I'm figuring out that everybody, or a lot of people, from, call them D-level celebrities to some people who are, I guess, prominent figures in the New York community were mentioned, and not engaging in anything nefarious, but okay, it's touching a lot of people's lives, casual email here and there. Interesting observation, just from a life point perspective on my end. The most captivating thing to me was the recording of Ehud Barak, then the sitting Israeli prime minister. A little bit of background: 60% of Jews in Israel are of Middle Eastern or North African background. Since the founding of Israel, they felt discriminated against because they were low-skilled or less educated than their European counterpart Jews. Why am I going into this debacle now? A recording of Ehud Barak came out in the Epstein files where, and furthermore, the Jews of Middle Eastern background founded a group in Israel called the Black Panthers in the 60s against Golda Meir, who was having some controversial policies against Arab Jews at the time. And they were fighting for their civil rights, a lot like the Black Panthers here. They even called themselves the Black Panthers. So there's a big animosity between Jews of the Middle Eastern background versus the Ashkenazi Jews, which is the European Jews. Fast forward to the Epstein files. Ehud Barak tells Jeffrey Epstein, we can focus more on the quality of Jews we allow into the country. My predecessors just took any Jew any way they came. The Jews from the Middle East and North Africa, implying they are of lower quality. To me, that's the biggest, personally, it's one of the biggest revelations that affect me and really make me think, wow. All of this that at least they claimed wasn't true as far as discrimination, the degrading of one class versus another is in black and white. It's undeniable now at the highest levels. It's that's just what I'm thinking about the Epstein files. The headline of no trafficking ring came out. Of course, Netanyahu is the arch nemesis of Ehud Barak, and they're going back and forth, but I'm not going to cover that right now. Okay, in the chat, do let me know if you disagree with my assessment of the commercials. I didn't think any of them were particularly great, but we all know that's the second most important show of the Super Bowl. Okay, wait, I can't believe I went this long. Where'd I go? Almost 10 minutes without addressing it. The game itself, the past couple of years, I've really been let down. Like, no touchdown to the fourth quarter and not even a competitive game. Interceptions returned for a touchdown by the winning team. Not that I liked them. But like those Tom Brady Super Bowls, those are something to watch. Oh my God, yes. And then I know I already did get comments, but this is New York Giants mousepad. I used to be a Giants fan when they were relevant, Eli Manning days. When we were in that Super Bowl, both times against the Patriots, wow, that was a really emotional Super Bowl. I'll tell you that much. And I was a kid. I was 7th, 8th grade. My God. That's a game. The David Tyree catch. Oh my God. Anyways, going on to, a little bit of international news. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of the Iran-US negotiations in Oman. I think it's a lot more than a triad, but I went through last week what I think is going on between the moving parts of Venezuela, Ukraine, Greenland, Europe, Iran, all leading back to Russia. I'm sure it's all on the table. And I'm sure that the military posturing that we're doing around the Persian Gulf is part of the negotiation. So let's see what happens. Let's see. I guess it made sort of national headlines. Mamdani's snow job in New York. I mean, honestly, I've been in Manhattan, and of course, I've been in Brooklyn since we were hit by this snowstorm. You guys know I wasn't here since the beginning, but I don't think really. I mean, it snowed. There's a lot of snow now. Are people taking it as an opportunity to hit on Mamdani? Maybe, but there's a developing sort of frustration with Mamdani's snow job over this snowstorm here in the Northeast. I should be doing some more reading into what the SAVE Act is, SAVE. Trump wants the SAVE Act to pass as a vehicle for sweeping election changes. I don't think that he can get it through the filibuster. I think they tried, the Democrats tried it during the Biden administration to get some sort of HR 1, I think it was called, through the reconciliation process, but that was not, it wasn't allowed, I think, either by the parliamentarian or somebody else. So I should do more reading into that and see if that's actually going to pass at some point. Perhaps he's going to try and tie it to the DHS funding bill. My eye is on that DHS funding bill. Could the whole DHS run out of funding in a couple of weeks, or in, what is it now? I think 1 week. Let's see what they come up with. The Clintons should, in my opinion, should publicly testify. I don't understand why they would be behind closed doors. The Republicans asked for it, and the Republicans better get it. It's still worth noting the amount of, I don't want to call it rebellion, but the amount of the lack of support for the Clintons in the Democratic Party now just really shows. Not only did the Republican Party completely transform into what do they call it? Like it didn't just leave the Reagan Republicanism. The Democratic Party left Clintonism. In my opinion, they even left Obamaism. So yeah, both parties are really not the way they used to be not too long ago, in my opinion. So what do they call? I'm forgetting the acronym or the title. Like I'm a non-Trump Republican or something like that. It's not I'm a Reagan Republican. There's another name for it. Help me out, guys. Okay. And I think that's really it for my headlines. I did have another take to make yesterday. Let me pull that up while we do that. Nancy, without a doubt. I do. Corinne, I don't know if it's a rhino. I don't know if it's a rhino. Like, what would you call, what would Meghan McCain call herself? Traditional Republican? Maybe. All right, let me just get into my culture, my content before we run out of time here. Let's see what we got in the comment section though. Oh, I think never Trumper. Right. I'm a never Trumper, but I don't know if that's it. You know, it was pretty cool, actually. Ferris Bueller last night, he had a cool commercial. All right, Robin, you're looking for a Mac? Or, wait, I think you were talking with Sean, right? Looking for a Mac? Good machines. Good machines. Love is more powerful than hate. God bless America. Pete, I take it you enjoyed the halftime show. So let me just go into some content that I had to cover. I wanted to opine on at the very slightest. What do we got here? Okay. Here's something that I didn't hit on that happened after my Friday stream. Trump retruthing or retweeting that video with the Obamas as monkeys. I mean, really ill-advised. I know he wants to stir up controversy, but dude, there's some lines we don't cross, even when you're trying to stir up controversy. Blatantly racist. I mean, you just can't do that. It's just something you can't do. Like, can Trump go and drop the N-word? No, there's just some things he can't do. And that's one of them. That's one of them. That video was something. I think I even saw Tim Scott told him, absolutely not. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Another headline I was looking at was what's happening in the national intelligence sector, because there's a whistleblower going back and forth with Tulsi Gabbard, and I'm not quite sure how it's being handled, because Republicans tend to be pro-whistleblower, or any government is pro-whistleblower as long as it's supporting their side. Let's see what happens. I mean, Snowden came out under Obama. Vindman came out under Trump. They both hated what they had to say, and Republicans championed whatever Snowden had to say, even though they were the ones who passed the Patriot Act. So let's see how that works and how it unravels. Yeah, let me just engage with the comments for a few minutes, and then I'll go into some more content if I need them. Hamilton, Meghan McCain generally identifies as a conservative Republican, not a libertarian. Although she holds some socially liberal views, she has described herself as a bad Republican in her memoir. I guess nowadays is considered a bad Republican. I mean, hell, I'd consider myself, I guess, a McCain Republican. I would even consider myself, I don't know, is it incompatible? A Clinton Democrat. I mean, I see both as sort of compatible with my ideology. Yeah, Snowden is still a thing. Funny enough, I read his book like 2-3 years ago. He came out with a book. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. I would tell you, it's nothing that we're not already suspicious of, that our phone tracks us, that when you delete a file, it's not really deleted. What a good read. What a good read. Yeah, Tammy, very few do check the boxes for either party. But I'll tell you, I don't. So when I'm thinking back to John McCain's platform, sure, I'll agree with most of that. And when I think back to Obama's platform, I'd agree with most of that. If I had to vote in that election, I don't know how I would vote. I was too young to have any real opinions at the time, but I definitely was in tune with the news cycle. I'll tell you that. Robert, oh, this is a nice comment. Could I understand everything he was singing? No, but based on the visuals, it was about culture and family. Well, let me tell you what it was like by my Super Bowl party. It was me and 20 other guys around my age, and they were betting on the songs. Which songs is and isn't he going to sing, and when? They weren't really Looking at the culture, looking at the songs, looking at the performance, the theatrics, none of that. It was the amount of money. Forget about the amount of money nationwide. The amount of money I saw transferring between different people. My God, the gambling and DraftKings. How much advertising the DraftKings do themselves? Oof, a lot. Joe Abrams. I've been trying to dig deep on the Tulsi Gabbard complaint. Best is she interfered with the flow of info for political reasons. Listen, I used to have some respect for her and the work she did. I mean, I think she had a moment in the Democratic nomination process in 2020. I think she has some intelligent, underrated points that she doesn't get due respect for. But the way she handled, or the way it was portrayed after we struck Iran the way we did, and she testified that Iran didn't have any nuclear capabilities. I mean, she really looked like a clown. I haven't had respect for her since. I don't know what she's running at DNI, but there's a story there. There's a story there, and let's see how it unfolds, right? I'm not sure. Sean is saying, not sure why they can bet on songs as they rehearse with people present days before the halftime show. I knew the entire Rolling Stones set prior to the performance. But did you know what they would begin and end with? And they surely weren't going to play every single track. They had to select a few and leave out a few. That's what they were betting on. But I guess it's very privy to insider trading. Listen, the betting markets really have to mature with some sort of SEC kind of structure. We all know that. That's it. Robin, what are you guys talking about? Yes, it is. Just get stamped NYC birth certificate. It's over $50. I don't know what you're talking about. Jamal, people are frustrated with Philly as well. The brutal cold following the inches of sleet make it much more difficult. We have many streets that no plow can traverse. Well, I'll tell you that. Yeah, we're full of ice here, but at least here in New York, we're supposed to be above freezing. On Wednesday, we're breaking freezing. So, I see. Sean, they did the same set in order several times. All right. So that is, well, how's this? Could have been rich, right? If betting was a thing back then like that. All right, let's do a couple more comments and we'll wrap up for the day. Desert Sunset, whistleblower case is detailed on Mueller. She wrote an interview with the lawyer representing the whistleblower. Huh. Let me look. I have to look a little more into that, and I want to look more into the SAVE Act to see what the probability of passing and stuff like that are. So we'll do that. And let's do one more comment. Jamal, anyone who agrees 100% with a party or with another person is either lying or insufficiently informed. You also forgot tribal. I mean, if people want to be completely allegiant to one person, one party, one platform, and whatever they say goes, and that person or that ideology is always right, I mean, there's that. In addition to what your comment is. Robin, where is it -20? And I hope you mean at least Celsius. I hope. It's like a little hotter if it's Celsius than Fahrenheit. Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, always a pleasure. Got to go to work. And I will see you Wednesday. Stay tuned. My email is coming on, should be like 1:05 Eastern time. And yeah, I would have shot it as a video yesterday, but you know, life happens. And I promised you, and I informed you, work first. I can't take this, full time, not just yet, at least. So cheers. Have a great day, everybody.